I overheard my husband planning to take my $50 million business through divorce. So I transferred everything to my mother, filed for bankruptcy, and left him with only the debt. Welcome, family. Please subscribe if you enjoy stories like this. Say hello in the comments and tell us your city or country. With that, let's continue our story. I never meant to eavesdrop. Standing outside Justin's office at 11 p.m., holding the chamomile tea I'd made for his late-night conference call, I heard my husband's voice drift through the crack in the door. She built it from nothing, yeah, but legally half is mine. My lawyer says we're looking at $25 million minimum in the settlement. My hands trembled. The tea sloshed onto my silk robe. Justin, you're brilliant, a woman's voice purred. Finna. His new associate. Once the divorce finalizes, we can finally be together. No more sneaking around. My heart stopped. 15 years of marriage. 15 years of supporting his failed ventures while my sustainable fashion company, Empress Threads, grew from my grandmother's sewing machine to a $50 million empire. I'd mortgaged our home to fund his tech startup that crashed. I'd worked 70-hour weeks while pregnant with our daughter Laura because his consulting business never materialized. The timing's perfect, Justin continued. She just signed those expansion contracts. The business is valued higher than ever. My attorney says her emotional attachment will make her settle quickly rather than drag Laura through court battles. I backed away silently, my mind racing. This man I'd loved, supported, built a life with, was strategically planning to destroy me. Not for love lost, but for calculated profit. Using our 12-year-old daughter as leverage. That night I didn't sleep. I sat in Laura's doorway watching her chest rise and fall, her braids splayed across her pillow. She loved her father. This would devastate her. But I couldn't let him win. I'd built Empress Threads with blood, tears, and relentless determination. By dawn, I knew exactly what I had to do. People always asked how I built a $50 million company by 37. The answer wasn't glamorous. It was my grandmother Loretta's voice in my head at 4 a.m. We don't wait for opportunities, baby girl. We create them. Grandma Loretta raised me after my parents died in a car accident when I was 8. She worked 3 jobs, took night classes, and somehow always had time to teach me to sew. Her cramped apartment smelled like fabric softener and ambition. Education and ownership, she'd say, threading her ancient Singer machine. That's how we break cycles. I got a full scholarship to design school, worked retail to afford materials, and launched Empress Threads from her living room at 22. Justin entered my life 3 years later at a business networking event. Handsome, charming, ambitious. He said he admired my drive. He called me his queen. I believed him. Our wedding was small but perfect. Grandma Loretta cried through her toast. You found a man who sees your crown, baby. If only she'd lived to see the truth. She passed 2 years ago from a sudden stroke. I inherited her small house, her sewing machine, and a safety deposit box containing $20,000 she'd somehow saved. For emergencies, her note read. Trust your instincts. Justin had seemed genuinely grieving. He held me through the funeral, handled the estate paperwork, even suggested I take time off. I thought I'd married my partner. Now, staring at our family photos lining the hallway, I saw the pattern. He proposed right after my first major investor meeting. He wanted another baby when my second location opened. He'd always been positioning himself. My phone buzzed. Laura's school reminder. Parent-teacher conferences next week. I had to protect her from this implosion. Whatever happened next, she couldn't know her father was a calculating predator. I called in sick for the first time in 5 years. Justin kissed my forehead, concern painted perfectly across his face. Rest, baby. I'll handle Laura's drop-off. His tenderness made my stomach turn. How long had he been acting? After his card disappeared, I tore through his office. His laptop was password protected, but Justin was predictable. I tried Laura's birthday, our anniversary, his mother's name. Nothing. Then I remembered. He'd changed it last month, claimed his company required updates. I tried Sienna 2024. The screen unlocked. My hands shook scrolling through his emails. 6 months of correspondence with divorce attorney Jonathan Lincoln. Detailed asset valuations of Empress threads. Screenshots of my business bank accounts. How did he access those? Then I found it, an email to his brother Derek titled, Exit Strategy. I've been documenting everything for 18 months. Her work hours, emotional unavailability, even therapy suggestions she declined. Lincoln says we can paint her as married to the business, neglectful of family. Judges favor involved fathers. I'll get custody leverage and financial settlement. She'll pay alimony since I sacrificed my career supporting hers. The gaslighting blueprint was meticulous. Every concerned comment about my work hours, every suggestion I was missing Laura's childhood, every criticism wrapped in care, calculated groundwork. I photographed everything, emailed copies to a new secret account, then cleared the laptop's history. Next I called my mother Diane. We hadn't spoken in 3 years. After Grandma Loretta died, Mama had shown her true colors, demanding money, claiming I'd been the favorite grandchild who stole her inheritance. I'd cut her off for my sanity. Diane speaking. Her voice was sharp. Mama, it's me. I need help. It's an emergency. Silence stretched. Then, what kind of emergency requires money? Despite everything, she was still my mother. And I needed someone Justin would never suspect was my ally. The kind where I need you to trust me completely. Diane arrived at a coffee shop across town, her designer purse contrasting her worn face. My mother had always wanted more than life gave her. Marrying my father, a postal worker, had felt like settling. His death left her bitter, jealous of Grandma Loretta's relationship with me. You look terrible, she said, ordering the most expensive latte. Classic Diane. I need you to hold something for me. Legal paperwork, business documents. Justin can't know. I slid a folder across the table. If anything happens to me, these go to my attorney. Her eyes narrowed. What's going on? Are you in trouble? I explained everything. Justin's affair, the divorce strategy, the 18 months of documentation. To my shock, Mama's expression shifted from suspicion to fury. That son of a bitch, she hissed. After everything you built? Men like him are leeches. Her hand covered mine, an unfamiliar warmth. Loretta always said you were stronger than me. Prove her right, baby. What do you need? Something cracked in my chest. Maybe we'd never have the relationship I wanted, but blood still pulled. I need you to become a ghost. Open a new bank account. Don't tell anyone where you're staying. In 2 weeks I'm transferring assets to you. It'll look suspicious, but by then it won't matter. You're hiding your money from him? I'm protecting what I built. He wants to take half of my life's work because he slept in my bed. Not happening. Diane smiled, something predatory and proud. You're finally fighting like a woman with nothing to lose. About time. We spent 3 hours planning. Diane would establish an LLC in her name, open business accounts in 3 different banks, and prepare to receive wire transfers. She'd document everything. Dates, amounts, purposes. Thank you, Mama. He squeezed my hand. Make him regret underestimating you. Gerald Sampson wasn't a typical divorce attorney. The 60-year-old black man had built his reputation on representing women in high-asset divorces, particularly those involving business ownership. His office walls displayed framed articles. The pit bull of family court, protector of entrepreneurs. Mrs. Edwards. His handshake was firm. Your voicemail sounded urgent. I presented everything. Recordings of Justin's conversation, his laptop screenshots, the 18-month documentation plan. Gerald's expression remained neutral, but his jaw tightened. May I speak candidly? He asked. Please. Your husband is executing a textbook financial abuse strategy. The documentation painting you as neglectful, positioning himself as the sacrificial spouse. I've seen it destroy women. But you've got something most don't, advanced knowledge and evidence. What are my options? Gerald leaned back. Legally, protect assets, file first, go to war. But you mentioned transferring everything to your mother. That's fraudulent conveyance. A judge will unravel it, possibly sanction you, and Justin's attorney will crucify you for hiding assets. My heart sank. So I just let him take half my business? I didn't say that. Gerald's smile was sharp. I said it's risky. But risk can be managed with proper documentation and legitimate business reasoning. If your mother becomes a genuine business partner with actual responsibilities, if transfers serve valid corporate purposes, if you can prove business necessity rather than divorce avoidance, that's different. How? Your company needs restructuring for the expansion you mentioned. Create a parent holding company owned by you and your mother as partners. Transfer Empress Threads assets into that company as capital contribution. Establish your mother as COO with actual duties. Pay her appropriately. Make it legitimate. Before I file for divorce? Before he files. You need to move fast. How soon can your mother be operational? She's ready now. Gerald nodded. Then we have work to do. But understand this will get ugly. Justin will fight viciously. Are you prepared? I thought of Laura, of Grandma Loretta's legacy, of 15 years supporting a man who saw me as a retirement plan. I'm done being nice. The next week was a blur of paperwork and performance. I maintained perfect normalcy at home, cooking Justin's favorite meals, asking about his day, playing loving wife. At night, I worked with Gerald and a corporate attorney named Pamela Jefferson restructuring my empire. Empress Threads Holdings LC was born. Diane and I were 50-50 partners. She took actual corporate training courses, learned our supply chain, attended vendor meetings via video. We created legitimate paper trails. Employment contracts, salary agreements, operational responsibilities. This is actually fascinating, Diane admitted during a late-night Zoom call. She was studying our manufacturing partnerships. I never understood how complex your business was. Most people don't. They see fashion and think frivolity. It's supply chain logistics, labor negotiations, market analysis, financial forecasting. And your husband thinks he deserves half because he existed near it. Her disgust was palpable. How's Laura? Oblivious, thank God. She's excited about her science fair project. Justin has been extra attentive lately, taking her to practice, helping with homework. My voice cracked. Building his involved father evidence. That bastard. When do we transfer assets? Tomorrow. All inventory, intellectual property, contracts, and operational funds move into the holding company. Empress Threads becomes a subsidiary. Legally clean, business justified. And then I file for divorce before he does. Gerald's serving papers Friday morning. Justin won't know what hit him. That night Justin held me in bed, his arms around my waist. I love you, he whispered. You know that, right? I stared into the darkness, my heart dead. I know. We should plan a vacation. Just us. Laura can stay with my mom. We need time to reconnect. That sounds nice. Each word tasted like ash. He kissed my shoulder and fell asleep. I lay awake, counting hours until my liberation. Friday morning, Justin was whistling in the shower. He had a meeting with Jonathan Lincoln at 10, his divorce attorney, though I wasn't supposed to know. I checked his calendar. Today was supposed to be the day he filed, served me at work for maximum humiliation and leverage. I'd filed Thursday night. Emergency hearing secured for custody arrangements. At 9 a.m. a process server arrived at our door. Justin answered in his bathrobe, coffee in hand. Can I help you? Justin Edwards? You've been served. The man handed him papers and left. I watched from the kitchen doorway as Justin's face transformed. Confusion, shock, then pure rage. What the fuck is this? Divorce papers. I'm filing first. His eyes found mine, wild and desperate. Baby, what are you talking about? This is insane. We can work through whatever. I heard you, Justin. 3 weeks ago, your office 11 p.m. You and Sienna planning how to take my business, use Laura as leverage, paint me as a neglectful mother. My voice was ice. I know everything. The mask shattered. His face contorted into something ugly, unfamiliar. You were spying on me? I was bringing you tea. You were plotting to destroy my life. That business is half mine. I sacrificed my career for you. I raised our daughter while you obsessed over your company. Spittle flew from his mouth. You're a selfish bitch who cares more about money than family. There was the real Justin. Get out. This is my house. It's in my name. Purchased with my money before marriage. Gerald made sure I knew my rights. You have 1 hour to pack essentials. Everything else we settle through attorneys. Justin grabbed my arm, his grip bruising. You think you're smart? I've been documenting your neglect for 18 months. Any judge will see you're an unfit mother. I yanked free, my voice steady despite my racing heart. And I have recordings of you admitting this divorce is about money and your affair. Touch me again and I'm calling the police. 45 minutes now. He stared, perhaps seeing me clearly for the first time. Then he laughed, cold and bitter. You'll regret this. I'll take everything. Laura came home from her friend's house to find Justin loading his car. She stood frozen, her backpack sliding from her shoulder. Daddy, what's happening? My heart shattered watching her face crumble. Justin knelt, his expression suddenly soft, the performance resuming. Hey pumpkin. Daddy and Mommy need some time apart. But I'll see you all the time, okay? This doesn't change how much I love you. Are you getting divorced? Her voice was so small. I wanted to scream the truth. Your father is a liar who tried to steal from us. Instead, I knelt beside her. We're having grown-up problems, baby. But you're loved and safe. That never changes. Is it because of Mommy's work? Laura's eyes accused me. Because she's always busy? The knife twisted. Justin had been poisoning her against me for months. No, sweetheart. Sometimes adults grow apart. It's complicated. Justin hugged her, whispered something I couldn't hear, then loaded his final box. I'll call you tonight, Laura. I love you. He shot me a venomous look. My attorney will be in touch. After he left, Laura ran to her room and slammed the door. I stood in the hallway listening to her sob, unable to comfort her without revealing truths that would hurt more. My phone buzzed. Gerald, how'd it go? He's gone. Laura hates me. Give her time. Kids are resilient. How are you holding up? I'm numb. Is that normal? Completely. The adrenaline will crash soon. Do you have someone who can stay with you? I called Diane. She arrived an hour later with groceries, wine, and surprising gentleness. We cooked dinner together while Laura stayed isolated upstairs. Should I try talking to her? Diane asked. Let her process. She'll come down when she's ready. At 8 p.m. Laura appeared red-eyed. I'm hungry. We ate in heavy silence. Finally Laura spoke. Daddy said you care more about your business than us. Is that true? Diane answered before I could. Your mother built something incredible so you'd never struggle like she did. That's love, baby. Not neglect. Laura's eyes welled. Then why is Daddy leaving? Because sometimes people aren't who we think they are. Justin's attorney Jonathan Lincoln was everything Gerald predicted. Aggressive, condescending, and underestimating me. Our first mediation session was brutal. Mrs. Edwards, you restructured your company days before filing for divorce, Lincoln said, his smile sharp. That's textbook asset hiding. We're filing a motion to freeze all accounts and reverse those transfers. Gerald didn't flinch. My client executed a legitimate business expansion requiring additional operational leadership. Her mother has decades of business experience and brought capital investment. The restructuring serves valid corporate purposes documented extensively. Convenient timing. Mr. Edwards planned his divorce filing for 18 months, documenting alleged neglect to maximize his settlement and custody leverage. That's calculated, premeditated financial abuse. My client was defending herself from predatory actions. Lincoln's smile faltered. You have no proof. Gerald slid across recordings, emails, and screenshots. Your client's own words. Planning to use his daughter as a weapon, targeting his wife's business assets, conducting an affair with a subordinate, and gaslighting his spouse about her parenting. Judge Morrison will find this fascinating. The blood drained from Lincoln's face. Justin sitting beside him looked murderous. That was obtained illegally. From your personal laptop in your marital home where my client had every legal right to be. Try again. The session ended with Lincoln requesting a private consultation with Justin. I knew what was happening, recalculating strategy now that their victim had teeth. Outside, Gerald squeezed my shoulder. You did great. Stayed calm, didn't engage emotionally. He's rattled. What happens now? He'll push for business valuation, claim emotional distress, possibly file a civil suit for fraud. We stay aggressive but clean. How's the business actually doing? I hesitated. Losing major clients. Our biggest retailer dropped us this morning. They cited instability concerns about the divorce. I'm losing partnerships I spent years building. Gerald's expression darkened. That's not coincidental. Justin might be sabotaging you, spreading rumors to devalue the business before the settlement. Document everything. My empire was burning and Justin held the matches. The sabotage was systematic. Within 2 weeks, I'd lost 40% of my retail partnerships. Anonymous complaints flooded our social media about unethical business practices and financial instability. Industry contacts suddenly stopped returning calls. Then Diane called, her voice shaking. Someone's digging into my finances. A private investigator contacted my bank, asking about large recent deposits. They're building a fraud case. Lincoln's trying to prove the restructuring was illegitimate. Stay calm. Everything's documented. But the pressure was crushing. Laura barely spoke to me. She'd started therapy, but Justin was using it to document my impact on her mental health. Meanwhile, Empress Threads was hemorrhaging money. Investors were nervous. My CFO, Jennifer, requested a meeting. We need to discuss options, Jennifer said, her usual warmth replaced by professional distance. Revenue's down 62%. Operational costs haven't adjusted. We're burning through reserves. How long can we sustain this? 3 months, maybe 4. Then we're looking at layoffs or closure. The company I'd built from nothing was dying. Justin was getting exactly what he wanted, destroying me. That night, I sat in my home office surrounded by Grandma Loretta's quilts, old photos, and memories of building something beautiful. My phone rang, unknown number. Hello. Mrs. Edwards? This is Detective Maria Santos. I need to speak with you about financial irregularities involving your business. My blood froze. Excuse me. Your husband filed a report claiming you're hiding assets, committing fraud, and potentially laundering money through your mother. We need you to come in for questioning. Justin hadn't just destroyed my business. He'd criminalized me. The man I'd loved, trusted, built a life with was trying to put me in prison. I called Gerald, my hands trembling. He reported me to the police. Gerald's sigh was heavy. Escalation tactic. Don't panic. They investigate, find everything legitimate, and it backfires on him. But you need to cooperate fully. Gerald, I can't go to jail. Laura needs me. You won't. Trust the process. But trust was ash in my mouth. The police interview lasted 4 hours. Detective Santos asked questions about every business transaction for the past 2 years, scrutinizing the restructuring, Diane's involvement, cash flows, everything. I answered honestly, provided documentation, maintained composure even as terror clawed at my throat. Your husband seems convinced you're committing fraud, Santos said, her dark eyes assessing. My husband is trying to steal my life's work and is willing to destroy me to do it. Check his bank accounts. You'll find payments to Sienna Rodriguez, his mistress, totaling over $30,000. Money he took from our joint accounts without my knowledge. Santos's eyebrow raised. You're accusing him of theft? I'm stating facts. He's cheating, lying, and now filing false police reports. That's harassment, detective. After I left, Gerald called with news. Lincoln's pushing for emergency custody modification. Claims you're too unstable, under criminal investigation, potentially facing charges. He wants Justin to have primary custody. He's using his own false report as evidence? It's dirty but strategic. Judge Morrison isn't buying it, but it's creating mud. That's the point. Make everything so ugly you'll settle just to make it stop. That night I broke. Sitting in Laura's doorway watching her sleep, I realized Justin might actually win. Not because he deserved to, but because he was willing to sink lower than I could imagine. He'd destroy his daughter's mother to profit. I called Diane at 2 a.m. I can't do this. He's going to win. Listen to me, Mama said, her voice fierce. Loretta raised you to be a fighter. This man is trying to break you because he knows if you stay strong you'll destroy him. Don't give him that power. I'm losing everything. Then burn it all down. If he wants your empire, give him ashes. Something crystallized in my despair. Justin wanted my business to steal it. What if there was no business to steal? Mama, how would you feel about bankruptcy? Silence. Then, tell me what you're thinking. Filing for bankruptcy wasn't surrender. It was warfare. Gerald connected me with bankruptcy attorney Denise Clark, a brilliant strategist who understood what I was doing. Chapter 11 Reorganization, Denise explained. You're not liquidating, you're restructuring debt protection. But here's the creative part. You transfer operational control to your mother, establish yourself as a salaried employee and restructure ownership. Will it work? It protects assets from divorce settlement. Justin can't take half a company in bankruptcy protection. The court controls everything. And if your business is legitimately failing due to his sabotage, you've got documentation. It took 3 weeks to prepare. I documented every lost contract, every client who cited the divorce as reason for leaving, every piece of Justin's sabotage campaign. Meanwhile, I transferred remaining liquid assets to Diane per our partnership agreement. Legally sound, business justified, untouchable. Justin found out through his attorney. His rage was nuclear. He showed up at my house, pounding on the door at midnight. You fucking bitch. You're bankrupting the company rather than give me what I'm owed. I opened the door with my phone recording. I'm protecting my business from a predator. Leave or I'm calling the police. You're insane. That business is worth $50 million. Was worth $50 million. Before you sabotaged it. Before your affair, your lies, your schemes destroyed partnerships. You killed it, Justin. I'm just burying the corpse. The judge will see through this. The judge will see a woman whose business collapsed under the stress of her husband's betrayal and systematic sabotage. I have documentation. You have greed. Justin's face twisted. For a moment I thought he'd hit me. Instead he leaned close, his breath hot. You've destroyed everything. Our daughter will hate you forever. You'll lose custody, lose your business, and end up with nothing. Was your pride worth that? By pride? You tried to steal 15 years of my work because you're a failure who married success instead of building it. Yes, Justin. Destroying what I built is better than letting you profit from my pain. He left and I collapsed against the door, shaking. The truth was devastating. I'd likely lose everything anyway. But at least Justin wouldn't win. 6 months later, I sat in the bankruptcy court as Judge Harris reviewed my reorganization plan. Empress Threads Holdings was officially restructured. Diane owned 60%. I was a salaried employee with 30%. The final 10% went to a trust for Laura, untouchable until she turned 25. Justin got nothing. No business assets, no settlement beyond splitting our home equity. Judge Morrison had been scathing in the divorce decree. Mr. Edwards's documented attempts to manipulate the legal system, file false reports, and sabotage his wife's business demonstrate character unbecoming of joint custody. Primary physical custody awarded to Mrs. Edwards. I'd won legally, but the victory was ashes. Empress Threads was a shadow of its former glory. We employed 15 people, down from 80. Revenue was 70% lower. My reputation in the industry was permanently damaged. Most days I wondered if survival was worth the cost. Laura, now 13, was in intensive therapy. She understood more now. Gerald had shown her age-appropriate evidence of Justin's schemes. She'd stopped blaming me, but the damage to our relationship was profound. She was cordial, distant, grieving the father she thought she had. "Mama's bringing dinner," I told her one evening. Laura nodded absently, focused on homework. Diane arrived with groceries and unexpected warmth. Our relationship had transformed through crisis. Not perfect, but real. "How you holding up, baby?" Surviving. I poured wine. Spoke with Justin's attorney today. He's trying to modify the custody agreement again. He'll never stop. Diane squeezed my hand. But neither will we. That night, lying in bed, I thought about Grandma Loretta. Would she be proud? I'd protected her legacy but destroyed it in the process. Laura was safe but broken. I'd won the war but lost everything that mattered. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Your story inspired me to leave my abusive husband. Thank you for showing me strength looks like survival, not perfection. Tears streamed down my face. Maybe that was enough. Maybe survival, even bloody and broken, was its own victory. Justin had tried to take everything. I'd made sure he got nothing but debt and consequences. The cost was everything I'd built. But I was still standing. Loretta would call that winning. Outside, rain began to fall, washing nothing away but promising, eventually somewhere, something new might grow in the scorched earth I'd created. I'd burned my empire to save my soul. In the ashes, I was learning to breathe again. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share your own experiences in the comments. Have you ever had to make an impossible choice to protect yourself? Let me know below.